Rosemary was 35 when life hit her hardest. After 7 long years of marriage and countless failed attempts to have a child, her husband left without a word, just a small note on the kitchen table. "I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry." And just like that, he was gone. No goodbye, no face-to-face conversation. Just silence where love used to be. She read the note over and over, hoping it would change. It didn't, and neither did the loneliness that followed. Rosemary battled shame, heartbreak, and the crushing weight of dreams slipping through her fingers. She had wanted to be a mother more than anything. But now she was alone, childless, divorced, and drowning in questions. Who was she without him? Without a family? But Rosemary wasn't the kind of woman to stay buried beneath pain. Then one afternoon, while volunteering at a child welfare center, she met 5 boys who changed everything. They were brothers, all under 10, dressed in mismatched clothes and eyes full of questions. Their parents had died in a fire, leaving them orphaned and unwanted. Relatives turned them away, unwilling to raise 5 children at once. One social worker described them as a package deal no one wants. Rosemary looked at them and saw more than abandoned children. She saw something familiar: pain, fear, and the kind of silence that only comes after being rejected too many times. That night she couldn't sleep. Their faces lingered in her mind. She thought about how she once longed to be a mother, how that dream had been stolen from her. And now here was a chance. Not the perfect planned-out life she once dreamed of, but a real, raw, unfiltered kind of love knocking on her door. She didn't have much: a modest income, a small house, and no partner to share the burden. But she had a heart full of love, and it was screaming to be used. So she made a decision. One by one she brought them home. First came Henry, the eldest, shy but fiercely protective. Then Kenneth, the quiet thinker with eyes that always seemed to be watching everything. The twins, Joshua and Joseph, arrived next. Inseparable troublemakers with smiles that could light up the darkest room. And finally baby Divine, the youngest, barely 5, with cheeks so soft you couldn't help but pinch them. The early days were chaos. School fees piled high. Food was sometimes scarce, and sleepless nights became the norm. There were tantrums, broken furniture, scraped knees, and countless trips to the clinic. Teenage years hit like storms. Attitudes flared, voices rose, and doors slammed louder than thunder. But amid the messiness, something beautiful grew. There were moments when they danced in the rain, barefoot and laughing like wild things. They sang together on Sundays, gospel music filling their tiny living room as they ate jollof rice and told stories over steaming plates. Rosemary taught them how to tie ties, how to apologize, how to cook, and most importantly, how to love. She wasn't perfect. There were days she cried quietly in the bathroom, overwhelmed and unsure. But she never gave up. Every hug, every scolding, every bedtime story was given with the kind of devotion that only a true mother could offer. And slowly the boys began to thrive. Henry got into university on scholarship. Kenneth started his own tech blog that gained attention online. The twins opened a small fashion line that quickly took off. Divine, the baby, showed a gift for music that stunned everyone. As the years passed, they moved out. Some even left the country for work and studies. But no matter where life took them, they always came back home to her. Rosemary's little house remained their anchor, filled with memories and laughter. She never asked for anything in return. To her, seeing them happy was reward enough. Time moved like a river, quiet at first, then rushing before you could blink. Rosemary's hair turned gray. Her hands bore the marks of years spent cooking, cleaning, and caring. But her spirit remained strong. She watched proudly as her boys grew into men who stood tall, not just in height but in character. Henry became a respected engineer known for his calm mind and steady leadership. Kenneth built a name for himself in tech, creating apps that helped communities connect and thrive. The twins, Joshua and Joseph, expanded their fashion line across borders, dressing celebrities and dignitaries alike. Divine, the baby with the golden voice, became a rising star in music, touching hearts with lyrics that spoke of struggle, hope, and love. They traveled the world. Yet every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering brought them back to the one person who made it all possible. Rosemary. She never asked for anything. Not a gift, not even a thank you. But deep down, she dreamed of something more than the small house she had lived in for over 30 years. It was worn now. The roof leaked when it rained, the floor creaked underfoot, and the paint had long faded. Still, she never complained. On the morning of her 60th birthday, she woke up to the smell of fresh bread and coffee. Her boys had come home, all 5 of them. They filled the house with laughter and chatter, teasing each other like they were still children. She smiled, watching them from her seat on the old wooden bench outside. Life had been hard, but this moment was everything she ever wanted. Then Henry stepped forward, holding something wrapped in white cloth. "Mama," he said softly, "we have something for you." The others gathered around her, eyes full of anticipation. She looked at them, confused but curious. Gifts were rare. She always told them not to waste money on her. But this wasn't a small gift. Henry unwrapped the cloth, revealing a large silver key attached to a ribbon. Rosemary blinked. "What is this?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kenneth smiled. "It's yours now." Joshua and Joseph stepped aside, revealing a van parked just outside the gate. Inside were pictures, beautiful glossy images of a brand new house. Spacious, modern, with white walls, wide windows, and a garden bursting with flowers. "We built it together," Divine said, kneeling beside her. "For you, for us, for our family." Tears welled up in her eyes. She couldn't speak. Her heart pounded in her chest like it was trying to escape. All those years of sacrifice, of giving without expecting anything in return, had led to this moment. I don't know what to say," she finally managed, her voice trembling. "You don't have to say anything," Henry said gently. "We just want you to know. We remember everything. Every night you stayed up worrying about school fees, every time you cooked with whatever was left so we could eat, every hug, every scolding, every prayer. You gave us everything when no one else would." They helped her stand, guiding her toward the van. As they drove away from the house she had called home for so many years, she looked back one last time, not with sadness but with gratitude. That house held memories. Laughter, tears, growth, pain, and love. So much love. The new house was everything Rosemary never knew she deserved. Her boys had built the house with more than bricks and wood. They built it with gratitude, memory, and purpose. She moved in slowly, touching the walls like they might vanish beneath her fingers. There was a large kitchen where she could cook for all of them again, a wide living room where they could gather like old times, and a garden filled with roses, her favorite. But the surprises didn't stop there. Weeks after moving in, Henry sat beside her on the porch one evening as the sky turned orange. "Mama," he began, "we want to do something special." She looked at him, curious. "We want to give you something else. Something that belongs to you." Kenneth walked out with a thick folder, handing it to her carefully. "What is this?" she asked. "A gift," Joseph said. "A promise," Joshua added. Divine smiled. "From us to you." She opened the folder and froze. Inside were documents, official, signed, sealed. A trust fund set up in her name, funded by all 5 of them. Enough to ensure she never had to worry about anything again. Medical care, travel, even a small business if she ever wanted to start one. "You did this for me," she whispered. They all nodded. "We owe you everything," Henry said. "You gave us life when we had none. Now it's our turn to make sure you live well." Tears spilled down her cheeks. Not tears of sadness or even joy, but of deep, unshakable fulfillment. This was not how her life was supposed to go. Once she had dreamed of a husband, children of her own, a family built from blood. Instead, life had handed her pain, rejection, and silence. But then came 5 little boys who needed her more than anyone ever had. And through them she found herself. Months after her 60th birthday, something else happened, unexpected, almost surreal. One by one, each of the boys decided to get married. But not in isolation. Instead, they made a decision that stunned everyone. They planned a grand wedding. 5 grooms, 5 brides, one epic day. A celebration not just of love, but of the woman who had taught them what love really meant. The wedding became the talk of the region. 5 sleek suits, 5 glowing brides, music that echoed through the clouds, and a front row seat reserved for one person only. Rosemary. Dressed in royal blue, she sat with tears in her eyes and pride in her chest. The master of ceremony didn't even begin with the couples. He began with her. Before we celebrate these 5 men, let's honor the queen who raised them alone, strong and full of grace. The crowd stood. Applause thundered. And for the first time, Rosemary heard strangers call her a queen. After the wedding, photos of the event spread like wildfire. People wrote articles about her. Organizations reached out. A publisher offered to turn her story into a book. She smiled at all of it, not for fame, but because her quiet sacrifices had finally found a voice. Now every Sunday, she hosts lunch for her sons and their families. The once quiet house is now filled again with children's laughter, spilled juice, and toy cars under the table. Her grandchildren call her Mama Rose. Neighbors call her the Mother of Kings. And Rosemary. She calls herself grateful. She didn't get the life she prayed for. She got something greater. She didn't just adopt 5 boys. She raised 5 kings. Rosemary's journey shows that every life carries purpose, even when it feels empty or broken. She wasn't chosen by fate. Yet her decision to love when no one else would changed everything. With no husband, no wealth, and no clear path, she stepped into uncertainty with nothing but compassion. And that was enough. Her story reminds us that worth isn't decided by society's labels. Rosemary was once seen as childless, unwanted, forgotten. But in the eyes of 5 boys, she became everything. A guide, a protector, a mother. Love doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It thrives in the mess, in the hard days, in the quiet moments of sacrifice. And what we give freely without expectation often returns to us in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. Family, as Rosemary proved, isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, and who gives their heart completely. Her pain did not define her. Her choices did. And in choosing love, she built a legacy far greater than anything she ever imagined. Because sometimes what the world needs most is someone brave enough to care. If this story moved your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more powerful real-life tales that inspire. Thank you very much for watching.